Hi guys, and welcome back from Carly at the Herbathicary. Really good to see you guys again. If you're new to the channel or like the videos, please show your support by hitting like and subscribe down below. So here at the Herbathicary, we get one monthly shop delivery of things that'll last the month, from tinned food to cat litter, things like that. And guilty like most, I went onto the app and I just hit repeat last order. And rather shocked that the same order had gone up by 35% in total. So I grinned and bared it and went and completed the mammoth task of defrosting the freezer and cleaning out the fridge to get ready for said order, and was quickly quite ashamed at how much we waste and how used to eating what we want we have become. The girls eat a lot of fresh food and they'll pick at a few, and then all good intentions, the rest will be stored in the correct manner and never eaten, and vowed that this was going to stop. So I amended my order and informed the grumpy twins that times were gonna change, but also wanted this first start to prove to them that leftover meals don't have to be that bad. So we made leftover mashed potato everything cakes. Only parameters are only things that we have in the fridge or we can forage from our garden. A few days ago, Daddy made too many boiled potatoes as normal, and rather than letting them sit there in the water and go creamy overnight, I drained them, mashed them, put them in a container and popped them in the freezer. Now, I didn't have time to fully defrost it, so I cheated a little bit. As I'm going to be mixing dry ingredients with it, I figured popping the potato ice block in a little bit of boiling water to help it defrost wouldn't do too much damage while I prepare the other leftover ingredients. So I popped what was defrosted already into my mixing bowl. Now from our garden we have some choy sum and some bok choy. Now normally you would cook these, but when the leaves are really young like this, they're actually quite tender and sweet. So rather than cooking them down, I am just going to chop these up finely and chuck them in, and the heat of the cooking process will soften them a bit, but they'll still have some crunch to them, and my girls really do like them. Now we also had some leftover spring onions from the stir fry. I did cut the ends off and pop them in water, and they've already started to grow after 2 days. We also had some leftover grated cheese from last night's baked potatoes, and as it's only from last night, it hasn't gone crunchy yet. I've also got a little bit of mozzarella that's left over from the pizza, some cream cheese with chives that they absolutely love, and some leftover bacon that would normally be allowed to go green and get thrown away or probably fed to the animals before it goes green, but still past the stage that we would actually eat it. I'm actually really quite weird with any pork products, but I suppose that's a good thing. Now we don't want too much bacon in this, and we never eat the fatty bits either, so I'm just going to take off enough for the girls' meal for now, and I'll probably make these for Daddy and I later as well. But remember, you do want to cut the bacon very, very finely, as the cooking time isn't very long once the potatoes are done. So you want to get them as small as possible so they cook as quickly as possible. Now, my block of potato ice is still quite hard, so I'm going to take off what's defrosted already and pop the rest back in to carry on defrosting. So my mashed potato is finally defrosted, so we're gonna pop it all into our bowl and let's get with the mixing. So I've got some chopped parsley from our garden, and we'll give that a good mix in. Not only is it a great seasoning, but it also helps your body use the minerals and vitamins in the other food. So in with our cheese. Give that a good stir in. Then our bok choy and choy sam. A good serving of the spring onions, as my kids absolutely love them and they give it a nice crunch. I mean, of course, you can add any ingredients you want to this and leave some out. If you don't have bacon, you can use some leftover ham or even some chicken. A good seasoning of salt. We use the pink Himalayan salt. Give everything a good stir in. A large spoonful of this creamy ruled cheese. We absolutely love it in our house. We put it on absolutely everything, toasts, bagels, and sometimes my daughter just eats it off the spoon, as you just saw. Thieving. So give that all a good mix in. You do want to make sure the cream cheese is mixed in properly. Then in with our bacon. Again, get that all nicely spread out and incorporated as you want it to cook and cook evenly. And then last but not least, actually not last technically, we're going to add 1 egg. Mix that in well. I'll pop those shells in the sink so I can give them a clean, and then I'll use them for my plants. We will be using absolutely everything in this recipe. And then this is our final ingredient, in with about a cupful of, well, actually about 2/3 of a cup of flour. This will help bind it, but it'll also help give it a crispy coating. You do want to get your mixture like a thick dough consistency, as it will help them stop falling apart. So I kept adding flour until I got that consistency. And then to add to the flavor, as it's one of my kids' favorites, I added a dash of the barbecue seasoning that we use on pretty much everything. So that's our everything potato pancake batter ready. We've got proteins from the eggs and the milk, we've got starches from the potato, vitamins and minerals from the greens, and calcium and fats from the cheese. So frying pan ready, and again I only want enough olive oil to coat the bottom of the pan and make sure my potato cakes do not stick. Allow that to heat up on a medium to medium high heat, as we don't want our potato cakes to crisp up too quickly, as we do want everything to cook. So pop them in your pan. Now the most important part of this is to not turn them until the underside is done, as they will just fall apart on you. You can test if they're ready by after a few minutes, gently with your spatula trying to turn one, but if the potato cake stretches at all, it's not ready. Leave it be for another few minutes. Testing them every few minutes with your spatula. Another way to test is if they do actually move around the pan quite easily without sticking. That usually means the underneath are brown and they are ready to turn. So that's my first one, and that's actually browned beautifully. Now I keep turning my pan around because I find that it has different heats in different areas and things cook at different rates, so I do keep turning them. But it's been about 6 minutes on that side. As I said, I keep it on quite a low heat because I do want it to cook through before it browns and gets crispy. So approximately the same time on the second side as the first side. So while they're doing their thing, I'll just grab my plates and get them ready. Let's have a look. Oh no, it's still quite creamy on the end, so that's definitely not ready. If your potato cakes seem a bit thick and they're not cooking through, then you can just flatten them. But no, this one is perfect on both sides, and there's one of the edges which is a little moist, so I'm just going to pop that on its side and allow those bits to crisp up. Pop it back in the pan so that it can heat up again, as the edge that wasn't on the pan might have cooled, and then it is time to serve. I repeated this process with a second batch. In future, I will probably just have 2 frying pans on the go, as none of mine are big enough to take all of the pancakes. So 3 each, and by piling them on top of each other, it does actually help keep the heat in so they don't go cold while you're cooking your second batch. So that's our leftover mashed potato cake recipe containing protein, calcium, fats, vitamins, and nutrients. Hope you guys enjoyed this recipe and give it a go. I know my girls absolutely loved them. One of their neighbors actually asked for the recipe and they stopped moaning about leftover meals. Again, thank you guys for coming back to the Herbothicary. It was great to see you again. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.